Could you give us like a sneak peek of what your character has in store for the audience?
Yes, well, my character, who was in the original all of the Ghostbusters, but that was over getting close to 40 years ago. And since then, my character has stopped being a Ghostbuster and opened his own business that is now international. And he's very successful as a businessman, but he feels he's always a Ghostbuster. And when the world is threatened, he suits up with his jumpsuit and joins up with these amazing young people and his other fellow Ghostbusters, and we save the world.
Could you tell us about how your character arc has developed over the years? Like a small comparison between the Winston in 1984 to the one who is set to release in 2023?
Well, Winston in 1984 had just gotten out of the military service and was looking for a job. Things were tight economically, and so he was looking for any job that paid well. So he joined the Ghostbusters team. The Winston now is a very successful man who has managed to make a lot of money. And he's no longer looking for a job, but he is looking to contribute and to be an example for young people. And so he's just a much more confident, a very successful man. And the original Winston wasn't sure of what the future held. And now we have a man who has seen a lot of success and want to see other people be successful as well.
In what other ways has the franchise evolved over the years and the movies?
In the movie, we see a family that is connected to one of the original Ghostbusters, but they aren't aware of the Ghostbuster legacy. And so little by little, they begin to discover Ghostbusters and its impact on the world. And so, and little by little, and the audience discovers or remembers through the characters. And so when they're finally faced with the challenge, these amazing young people, wonderful actors, they step up to the challenge. And when it becomes almost overwhelming, the original Ghostbusters come in to help save the day.
So what is your most memorable experience when filming Ghostbusters?
Well, the most memorable experience when filming the most recent Ghostbusters was we had talked about making a movie, another Ghostbusters, for 30 years, and it never seemed to happen.
Oh.
And I had pretty much given up on that it would ever happen. And then Jason Reitman, who directed the new movie, he was 6 years old when we did the original movie, and his dad was the director. And so now Jason Reitman, who's a wonderful filmmaker, is the one who has written and is producing and directing the new movie. And so when he sent me the script, I was really excited. But when I walked on the set and I saw the other Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd with their jumpsuits on, and Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts from the original movie, and we were all together again for the first time in almost 40 years, it was almost emotional. Very, a lot of fun to see them.
What were your thoughts on the Return of Ghostbusters and its newly set plot, and especially that you were waiting for it? So how did you feel when you finally got to see it?
Yeah, the experience of Ghostbusters is really exciting, especially when you see it with an audience, and to see it with a theater full of people and they're being a part of the experience, because Ghostbusters really is about, for me, about people, the fans, all of us that embrace it. Right now, we have Ghostbuster chapters all over the world. In every country, there's Ghostbuster chapters. They make their jumpsuits and their backpacks. They turn their cars into ectomobiles. And so the theater with over 1,000 people sitting, watching the movie, and laughing and crying all together. It's a very moving and a loving experience.
So how challenging or exciting was it to get back on the sets of the movie after such a long time?
Well, it was fine for me because my jumpsuit still fit. But I will say, for one of the actors, the jumpsuit was a little snug. They had to kind of they had to adjust the movie. So, but the as long as the clothes fit, and now I have gray hair, and the backpacks are heavy, but they're a little heavier now than they were. So, but it was fun.
People describe this franchise as cross-generational. How would you describe it?
The thing that separates this movie from a lot of films is this movie appeals to very, very young people, 2, 3 years old, who laugh and cry with the movie, and grandparents who are in their 80s and 90-year-old, they're laughing with them. And it's something that they can watch together and share. There are a lot of movies that little kids like, but older people don't get, and older people like, but the little kids don't want to watch. Ghostbusters is something that all generations can share and together, and that's really special.
When you read the script, did you feel any need to make some small changes while you were going through it, reading it, or while you were doing the scene and filming it?
Yeah, no, I'm an actor, so I try everything I can to make what's written work, because I know a lot of effort has gone into writing it. Sometimes you get a script that, well, it needs a little altering. But I work with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and these are improvisational actors. And so they're used to changing and mixing things up. And so that's fun to see them in that process. But I'm an actor, so I'll try to make what's on the page work, unless it's just too difficult. But this was a really good script. Jason Reitman wrote a wonderful script, and it was easy. It's easy to say the words, but there were some changes. When you're working with Bill Murray, there will be some changes.
Now that you've brought up Dan and Bill Murray, how was it? How did you feel about the reunion of Ghostbusters and working with Dan, Billy, and Paul?
Yeah, it was almost. I saw them in their jumpsuits with their backpacks on, and I teared up. I almost cried, and I hugged them, probably a little too long, but I was really happy to see them. I've seen them in different social events from over the years, but to see all of us together working again, that was very, very, very touching and moving for me.
Yeah. So what are some new and different elements the audience can accept from the fourth movie?
Well, what's interesting about this new movie is seeing how the young people interpret it. I mean, we did the movie almost 40 years ago, and so, but this is a new generation of young, very creative people, and to see how they interact with the ghosts, interact with the equipment, interact with each other. It's a very, very different and learning experience for guys like there is a generational difference, and it's wonderful to see them take the material and make it their own.
So when you got the script of the third movie, were you aware that there's going to be a fourth?
Well, no. I just wanted to do the movie. We've waited almost 30 years to get this movie made, and so I'm like, okay, if we just do this one, we're good. But because the world has embraced this movie, and this movie has done really well, even with the pandemic, people have still gone seeing the movie. And so now they're talking about another movie that's being written right now. And I'm hoping it'll happen. And if it does, I'd love to be a part of it. But you know, when you make a movie, you do the best you can, and then you have to let it go. And the audience, the world will decide the future. You never can tell.
That is so true. Now coming to you, what other plans do you have in the pipeline? Like, what are the movie shows you're doing?
Well, I have a television show series that I'm really excited about called Quantum Leap.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on a series from the 90s. And now this is a continuation of that series. It's going to premiere tonight on American television. And I'm really excited about that. I think it's a wonderful series with more diversity. The characters now are international, and that feels great. But I also have 3 movies that are waiting to be released. One will be released this December with Woody Harrelson. It's called Champions. We shot it in Canada last year, and it's very good. And then there's one with Nicolas Cage. We shot in the Cayman Islands. That's called Retirement Plan, and that's coming out soon. And there's a movie called The Prisoner's Daughter with Brian Cox and Kate Beckinsale. That'll be coming out soon. And then I have another television series I do called The Family Business. That's in its 4th year. That's playing in countries around the world. And then, of course, the Ghostbusters is the, what do I say, the for me, the most exciting of all.
It looks like you have a busy calendar ahead.
I've been very busy and very, very blessed. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to be able to speak to you in India. How cool is that, too? I'm hoping the next Ghostbusters will take place in India. That would be a lot of fun.
Yes, that would be very exciting.